Hey guys, Dr. Disco back again with another video for you guys, and so today's video is gonna be my first ever proper Doctor Who review, and I am seriously so excited for this because today we're going to be reviewing an ultimate masterpiece. We're going way back in time to 1979, of where this story was created in Cambridge, and such an amazing story, brilliant plotline, amazing setting, great amazing creativity from an amazing writer, Douglas Adams. But sadly, it was heartbreaking for the whole cast and crew of the whole story. They were so completely heartbroken. They were all very sad to see this story not broadcasted or transmitted. They felt so heartbroken, and so today I'm going to be reviewing the one, the only, ultimate masterpiece that it is, Shada. Now, I'm going to be giving you a full detailed review of what I thought of Shada. I watched it about a couple of days ago, and let me tell you, spoiler alert, if you don't want to listen to this, then or watch this, then please move over to another channel if you want to. But Shada, in full detail, I'm going to read you the whole backstory. I'm going to read you what actually happens, what did I thought about the settings, the characters, the plot line, and the story overall in a basic summary as well at the end. So the backstory. Shada by Douglas Adams, amazing writer, brilliant. He did write another story, The Pirate Planet, another brilliant story. People may feel it was a bit crazy, a bit bonkers, but this story was unbelievable by Douglas Adams. And so, here we go. The Doctor, Ramona and K9 receive a message from an old friend, a retired Time Lord, living as a college professor in Cambridge. He's misplaced an ancient Gallifreyan artifact that could unlock the dark secrets of Shada, the lost prison planet of the Time Lords, and unless they find it before the crazed scientist Galdra, every sentient being in the universe is doomed. And so from this, I think that when I first read it, I was so hooked to it, like, ultimately. Like, the first few minutes into this story, you could have, there was Tom Baker just walking through a little museum filled with creatures that he's encountered before, like the Daleks, the Cybermen, and he's going around every single one of them like, oh, robot beat you, the Cybermen beat you, oh, the Daleks, I've beaten you too. And so he's going all around these past monsters, and then he comes across the Krog, which ultimately, you know, gives him a little light bulb in his head, like, Shada, and he screams out Shada, like, I'm not supposed to talk about that. And then he goes into all this quite great dialogue of the lost, untransmitted story, and why, of course, we didn't finish it. And like, the whole cast and crew was so devastated that this show was never broadcasted, and Douglas Adams, he felt ashamed and disowned that this story was never finished, and all thanks to the BBC were going on strike, and so they basically gave Doctor Who the kind of downfall of the show's popularity. And just because this show wasn't transmitted, the audience must have thought at that time that Doctor Who might have been dead after that incident with the BBC going on strike and Shada not being broadcasted at all. They thought Doctor Who was dead at that time. And I almost had a feeling that I was almost there, feeling their emotion of devastating, heartbreaking failure of Shada. But watching this story right now, I can almost picture myself just being there and thinking I could have, you know, passed on or, like, you know, improved the story. Well, I don't think I could have improved it better than Douglas Adams, but Douglas Adams, as a brilliant writer, he did a fantastic job writing this. He was amazingly exceptional, a brilliant writer. He also gave the Doctor Who cast crew a brilliant setting to do Shada, to film Shada, and they actually filmed Shada in Cambridge, where Douglas Adams grew up with his start of his creativity. And throughout that, he dedicated his life through Cambridge College because of his imaginative creativity that gave him the possibility of writing great, brilliant stories in the future. And he really wanted to pay tribute to an amazing college, and so he decided to film Cambridge as the setting for Shada. And I thought that the setting was immensely beautiful, so stunning, perfect weather, loads of sunshine. It was the perfect setting for an epic story. And then we have the inside where the lab, or the professor's room with all the loads of books. It was almost like kind of like a great library there. And I thought that having this story with like the ancient old artifact book that the Dr. Rahman and the professor are looking, because it's the book that the professor has stolen from the Gallifreyan Panopticon in the on Gallifrey. And so this book had like the potential to cause almost and lead directions to the prison planet Shada. And this crazed scientist called Scourger wanted destined power of all human beings, of all eternity. And so he wanted everybody's mind, and so he needed to find the book of the book that could take him to Shada, because at the planet Shada there was a character called Saliavin, I think that's it, Saliavin. And so Scourger wanted Saliavin of his mind, because his mind was the most powerful mind in the entire universe. And so with Scourger controlling his mind, he will be able to control every single everybody's mind in the universe, and he would have destined power over everybody in the whole universe. And I thought that was an incredible plot line, absolutely brilliant plot. I mean, that really generated the kind of suspense and tension in the story, and I could almost feel it. And then with the film, and with the parts that weren't filmed in the story, they kind of made they kind of did like a little dialogue with Tom Baker in it. They basically had like in between the bits that they didn't film, they had Tom Baker telling you to the audience the dialogue and almost like the scripts, like he was like reading from all of the bits that happened that weren't filmed. And I thought that was really good, almost like saying that this story is such an emotional, and it meant so much to Tom Baker, but as well as to the whole cast and crew of Shada. And so I thought that was really brilliant of Tom Baker to do that little dialogue of telling the audience what was actually happening, what actually, what was, going to happen, and, what eventually happened. And so, excuse me, sorry, I'm just coming out of a cold, but it's just, I think that this story brought out an amazing creativity, all because of Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams did a fantastic job, and he spoke about Tom Baker that it's easy for a designer to invent and design a visible spaceship, but an invisible spaceship that needs a man with creativity, and that's who I am. And so that's what I thought about Douglas Adams. He always thought outside the box, and that's why I would probably recommend him for a brilliant Doctor Who writer. He was really great. But sadly, this story of Shada never got broadcasted back in 1979 or to 1980. But they did release a legendary. Finished, and well, they didn't finish off the story at all because the BBC went on strike, and so they said no, you can't do this. We're going on strike, so you can't do your filming for Watch Shada or whatever your show. We're going on strike. You're not going to do the recording. You're going to have to cancel your show, and that is that. And so, unfortunately, the Doctor Who cast and crew, they had to completely cancel the show, and it felt an utter disappointment for many Doctor Who fans as well as the cast and crew. They felt utterly heartbroken when they realised that Shada was no more. This was almost like like an end of an era situation, and honestly, this story meant so much. I'm saying this over and over again because it really means so much. This was almost the biggest emotional story that you could ever get. If you had a story that you were totally thinking about for Doctor Who, if you were writing a story and you never had time to finish it, how would you feel about it? Would you feel devastated? Would you feel shocked and, like you couldn't finish it at all, I would feel absolutely heartbroken, and I could probably never be able to write ever again for a story, because you never know, maybe the same thing may happen again and again and again. And I thought at that time it really put off and broke a lot of hearts for many Doctor Who fans, and also the cast as well. Tom Baker was absolutely devastated. The whole cast and crew all cried out with tears. They were very sad to see this show untransmitted, and so this story brought out so many brilliant characters, especially the Doctor, who absolutely had a thing for this story, who wanted, you know, this show to be funny, yet again serious at the same time. Romana, yet again brilliant, but also as a, you know, usual Time Lord, you know, lady kind of act. And Carrie Diana's brilliant as ever, always, you know, putting off the Croc. And also, it's talking about the Croc are very underrated. They're really an underrated monster. And for the first time seeing them, I thought they were kind of like ash creatures covered like in a molten kind of, you know, body. And I thought that was ingenious by whoever created that. Probably Douglas Adams, probably. Because he is the ultimate designer and brilliant writer of Shada. I cannot ultimately, you know, resist and say any more negatives about this story, because I feel like I'm being so generous about giving loads of positives about this story, because it is incredible. If you watch it for yourself, then you realise what I'm going on about, and it is immensely incredible. I'm saying the words incredible way too many times. I'm going to have to get used to saying a different word instead of incredible. But this story brought out so much in the story. The characters were fantastic, especially the Professor. The Professor was ingenious. He kind of had this kind of the loss of memory situation where, like, oh, did I do that? Oh, I'm completely forgot. Oh, I've remembered something. No, I've forgotten. And so he has that kind of amnesia side effect where he kind of has loss of memories, but then goes back to his memory. And so I thought that was quite unusual, and he had a big role to play in. And in part 6 of Shada, he reveals that he is actually Sally Avon, the person that Skaldra is looking for. And in part 2, Skaldra almost just basically drains off the Professor's mind, who is actually Sally Avon, for, you know, almost the ultimate mind that could give him the ultimate power and control over the whole universe. And so also this sphere kind of, you know, is kind of like a device that kind of drains off all the brain power, and, you know, the mind is completely wiped out, and like they're all locked in a deep coma. And so I thought that was an ingenious way of how to control of all power. Having a brilliant mind can really set off and make sure and bring, you know, the ultimate person to victory. And I thought a guy who had an ultimate mind could control anything in the universe. He could pop into anybody's mind and change their history and also their feelings and emotions just like that. And so I thought ultimately that this story had an amazing plot line, brilliant set of characters. They didn't really matter at the start of the show, but when they got into the story, they kind of built up a builder and bigger, you know, stronger kind of structure of their character, and it became a big role within Shada. And I thought that all of the characters in this story, they did a big role. And so with this story, it felt such a disappointment to see all of their hard work gone down the drain. It's almost like they've completely lost it. And it's just such a shame of like having, you know, bloomingly 6 months of filming Shada gone to waste down the toilet. It was completely a heartbreaking moment for Doctor Who fans as well as Doctor Who at that time. They really felt that this was the end of an era, and that Doctor Who was never to be filmed again because the same thing will happen and happen, but it won't, and it didn't. It has been incredible. 1980 was a brilliant year for the P. Davison, Colin Baker, but then also returned in 2005 with David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, Capaldi, Smith, all those other doctors as well. But this was almost like the story that was yet to be completed. All the other stories have been completed. Some of them have been lost early in the early 1960s, but this story was unfinished. An unfinished story that had yet lost its reputation because they just couldn't be bothered to buy or, you know, even enjoy the story for once. And I really feel like the sympathy that I really adore this story so much. I have to give this a really 10 out of 10 or even beyond that. It is so an amazing and phenomenal story, and you should definitely pick it up. I highly recommend that you pick up Shada, because it is an ultimate story that every Doctor Who fan should definitely have. And if you are big fans of Shada, and you are big fans, I know that people also have the book. People may think that the book is better than the story, but watching this story for the first time, I really have enjoyed this story so much. But guys, if you are so excited, and if you do like that, you know, if you really are recommending to buy Shada, then please, I'll put some links in the description down below for some places that will do the Legacy Collection box set for a good cheap price. I got mine from HMV and it was only about like £7 or something, so a really good price. But anyway, over the summary, basically the Doctor goes goes to Cambridge. They do a little bit of a chase scene trying to find this kind of boy who has the stolen artifact that they're looking for, that I think it was Chris, that is played by Daniel Hill, took the book and he was analysing it for some reason, but he couldn't, you know, translate it. But then Skaldra escaped from this kind of, you know, ship, and he wanted to find the book in order to get to Shada, in order to have Scalliaven's mind and control every single mind in the universe, to become ruler and destined ruler of all eternity. And so like the Doctor had to persist in that role of stopping Skaldra, and also, you know, who is Scalliaven and who is he. And so they actually find out that the Professor is actually Scalliaven, and such an amazing story, and yet an emotional and heartbreaking story for all Doctor Who fans, and also the cast as well. This is one of the emotional but very ultimate ultimate classic stories of Doctor Who. It might have been it was lost, and it was a heartbreaking unfinished masterpiece by the brilliant Douglas Adams. He was absolutely fantastic writer, and if you are really a big fan of Shada, then please do give this a like, and also please comment and subscribe. What was your favourite moment in Shada, if you have ever seen it? And also please comment down below what you thought about this review, because I did this quite early today, but then I uploaded it to YouTube, but then it got removed because of copyright, because I added something I should have done. But anyway guys, tell me, what did you thought about this review? Was it a good review? Tell me how I could improve it, you know, what can I improve on? And so this is only just the start of, you know, a brilliant Doctor Who review series, and I hope you have enjoyed this Doctor Who review. Shada, an amazing story. I highly recommend you definitely pick this up. It's an exceptional 10 out of 10 story for me. It might have been yet an uncompleted masterpiece, but oh my gosh, with Tom Baker speaking about the dialogue, the amazing plotline, the gorgeous setting, and the whole story itself revolves around Douglas Adams and his brilliant creativity. And the whole cast and crew did an exceptionally brilliant job of making what was an ultimate classic story. And so I have to give every single, you know, person who played a part in Shada a big round of applause, and also a big thank you for releasing this DVD, because if this DVD wasn't released, I don't know where we would be in Doctor Who. And so guys, I hope you have enjoyed this brilliant review on Shada. I hope you are recommending to buy it, or if you have it already, please tell me what was your favourite moment in it. Do you like it? What rate would you give it? And so please comment down below, and also please watch this video, share, like and subscribe, and that will be all. I'm still grabbing you know, drawing more people's attention by doing more class reviews. I think more people are really liking those videos, but I hope this review will certainly excite more Doctor Who fans to do, will hopefully excite more Doctor Who fans to subscribe to my channel. And please do keep watching my videos. Please give more support to my channel, because this is just the start of my brand new YouTube channel. And I don't really want my YouTube channel to be like this, the end of an era, where the Doctor Who audience almost thought that Shada and Doctor Who were completely dead, an end of an era. I don't want that to happen to my channel. I want this channel to go further and further and further beyond anything I could imagine. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Next video we're going to be doing the documentary on more than 30 years in the TARDIS. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this brilliant first Doctor Who review on Shada. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Dr. Disco, out.